Well, in the Spanakopita episode, you guys used a bunch of stop motion. And did you guys go through another?
That was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was awesome. I was wondering if you guys thought you might do that, work with another animation studio or something.
That was like a very specific Ray Harryhausen Clash of the Titans kind of joke. If we ever make those again, we'll find a way to do it in that appropriate way. Right. But doing more of that, no. It only worked because it was a very specific thing.
What's your opinion on the fact that there were robot owls in ancient Greece? Like, made no sense in Clash of the Titans?
Well, like a clockwork kind of thing.
There weren't
even giant
crabs in ancient Greece too, right? And like half beast men and stuff. Like you're like in the historical. But you're not bothered by any of that?
No.
How do you feel that there's like a giant Laurence Olivier in the sky in ancient Greece?
Yeah, it seems reasonable. I don't know, just robotics.
But the owl didn't.
For robotics.
But it's more.
He was a clockwork
an
owl.
automaton. Yeah, the word robot would not be used.
He did have like
something
a personality and everything.
Cobbled together with clock parts that did not exist yet. I agree. There were no gearings and clocks and stuff. But these people, what they did with aqueducts is amazing. You don't think they could make an owl, a relatively sentient robot owl, if they really tried?
Do you think it follows the rule?
I don't think anybody of them are really trying. Like, what we should do with our technology? How about a robot owl? I know you want to feed the people and expand our empire, but what about robot owl? I'm tossing it out there to the Senate. See how that one sticks. Yeah, I think if they really wanted that to be done, that could have been done. But they were worried about securing their empire. That's my guess.
Is writing the show easier or harder now as the further you sort of go along and build up the world?
Both. Both.
Yeah, there are easy aspects and hard aspects.
Yeah, we know the characters so well. We have so much to say about them that it's very easy to put two or more characters in a room and just riff with them and just fill pages of a script. It's very hard to be a good editor and properly tell a story and not just have three guys filling 8 pages of a script with nothing.
And stuff. Writing a comedy show that you care about is difficult.
Yeah.
Because when you have a scene that you're like, God, these characters are really giving what they're supposed to give, and the plot is moving forward, then you go, and it's not funny at all.
Right.
And then if you do something that's funny, it's the first thing to get cut because
the episode's long. And
you can remove a joke and the narrative still flows.
Yeah.
So it's hard. That's the hard part. If we were just making a straight-ahead drama, very easy. If we were making just a regular comedy where everything that happens isn't now accountable for this world and the characters didn't have to move forward, the plot didn't have to move forward, that would also be easy. So what we do is, it's hard. I don't want to complain, but it's hard. It's hard. And then you fall in love with something when you're writing.
Right.
And you have these like giant scripts that you gotta cut down and you lose, and it's hard. I gotta pee, which is probably why I'm getting a little down on myself. I can feel that pressure in my bladder. Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Can you guys tease anything about the special coming up?
What was your question about the special?
Can
we tease?
Yeah, just give us kind of an idea of what we can expect.
Big.
It's massive.
Big game changer.
Yeah, change. Yeah. The venture world does get a little bit of a crack down its center.
Right.
But it's massive. There's so many characters. It happens in a location that has never been seen before but spoken of. It takes place in Gargantua 2, which is something that's been kind of running around since like season 3, talking about it. Maybe even since season 1, which was Gargantua 1, episode 2. So it's a lot. That's our spoiler. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And it moves really fucking quick.
And there's a lot of action, and there's a sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
There's some touching things. I don't know. It might be a fucking mess. I don't know.
It could be a shit.
We haven't seen it come back
mess,
yet from overseas, so we'll see.
Do you guys ever have you guys ever tried to put a joke in that like the network just was like, no way, it's too much?
No, it's like sometimes when you mention products, you can't get away with it. Sometimes you can.
Yeah, we have more like legal copyright issues. We're like, well, you can't show that and say that. You pick one or the other. You can either do a parody of that product, or you can mention it in you can do anything in dialogue. Basically, you can kind of say whatever you want. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll write what you want to have. And then you know that you're going to get some network notes, so you write another version that you put in as a script note. Right.
Like just recently, I had that whole list of products that Hank was throwing out.
Right.
And we just
But we knew that he had to be holding something up.
so
when he
we
said
we-
it, so that's why
we just
it was
used
a
the
problem.
old list where it wasn't like actually mentioning the product. So
Right.
We're good at it. We know what's not going to make it, and we know when just to make it easier on ourselves. And if there's something that we really want, we just write it and do it. And if they stop us, then they stop us. But we'll just keep moving forward and
I
get
did
amazed.
just get like an S&P thing about Frigid's breast. I swear we've been allowed to show more breast than what I'm trying to show with her.
Yep, there's something off-putting about
I got
that.
a character who's topless, but she's got some freeze ray pasties on her, you know.
Well, but then the script
and they made me make them so much bigger.
Yeah.
Like they really just have to. Come on,
Yeah, and then we can show Hatred's man breast
Like,
without a
how does that
problem.
work?
I couldn't believe that
That's
they didn't
crazy.
tell us to. Yeah. I just assumed that
It
was going to
doesn't-
get blurred.
these are
I mean, I
all-
really like that we didn't have to.
These
That's
are all like
good.
2
That's
lines.
grown up.
It's like a back of a
Yeah.
binder. Like, putting
if
a
you
black
transition?
bar over a fake cartoon penis is the stupidest thing I've
Yeah,
ever seen.
theoretically, it's
Yeah,
a
it's
weird thing.
crazy.
Yeah.
Especially when some of them are just like line, like
Yeah.
a black bar over that. Every 9-year-old has that drawn in the corner of some page somewhere. We just put a black bar over it. Oh, no. Fake cartoon penis, can't see it.
Do a penis-shaped bar.
Yeah. Or
I think we've tried.
Yeah. We tried to pixelate it one time and it looked more like a penis. Like if you do a mosaic, you can put a bar over it and do a mosaic. Like just haze it.
Yeah.
And the mosaic just made better penis than was
Right.
there. Like,
and
oh.
suggested more motion than there was to it. Because it was the dangle they were concerned about. Like, because the Korean animators really all that stuff's under the bars.
Yeah,
And
digital
so,
animation went
and they just
bananas with
really enjoyed animating that swaying.
with Dr. Venture Sr. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that going to be on the DVD at all, you think?
Was it? I don't know.
Or...
Back
You
then,
don't want it. Do you
back
want to see an
then we-
animated?
Well, now you've sold
I
me
mean,
on
it is beautiful. It really just gravity is just loving this thing. But it's you don't really need to see it. We got a little giggle out of it.
So you guys pull a lot from different aspects of nerd culture, you know, comic books, everything's. Do you think you'd ever feed back into it, like a Venture Brothers card game, like a la Flux?
I think we have fed back into it. Our show's been on long enough that many people right now that are creating these kind of things watched our show. And it's a part of their vernacular, this specific thing that only he and I do, this way of speaking, has become a part of the way people speak. So that's how we've been getting back to it. But we're not going to do it ourselves, roll up our own
Merchandise.
butts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except T-shirts.
We like to sell T-shirts.
Yeah. So, speaking of your relationship, how much of yourselves do you see in like Billy Quizboy and Pete White? Because when I see that, I always think, oh, these are like the most.
You would
like
They
them.
probably have the least of
You would
us.
think
I don't know,
because
like,
they're like physically similar. Every character is our worst and best traits, and then every character is themselves. Like these people live. We know how they live. We know what they say, and we make them say it because there are aspects of people around us and ourselves. But there are no direct parallel characters, and Billy and White are the least direct parallel characters. Watch and Ward, those two assholes at the Guild, have said stuff we've actually said. Like those are the weird kind of checking each other in love bickering.
Yeah.
That is us at our worst, and real dialogue. But Billy and White, we're just not like Billy and White.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not. Like
We're
Pete
not.
White.
Yeah, we're not those kind of geeks either.
Yeah,
Like, we're not.
Yeah. Billy's a real earnest geek, and Pete White is a lazy geek. We are neither of those geeks.
I love that the characters are more or less growing up a little, but as Hank and Dean get older, what real-world jobs do you think they would be best at?
Oh, best at. Okay.
Best at?
Best at.
Hank does get a. There's a spoiler. Hank gets a job.
A bit of a job, yeah.
This season.
Well, Hank wants to own and operate a chimp Eden. Like his
Yeah.
idea of a job is based on something he saw on TV once, and like I think I can do that. Yeah, I think I can do that. And
I think he'd be a good salesman.
I think what I think he would be good at his own, like an ice cream shop of just Hank's cones kind of thing.
Right.
Where he can be everything. Like I make it, I get up early and I make this for you. And this, today's flavor is Crest toothpaste flavored.
It's too sedentary for him, though. He wants to be on the
Oh,
move. I
oh,
think.
he might put it in
He,
the back
he
of
at
a
least
truck.
needs to get to work a floor and take some test rides. He'd be a great car salesman.
But I think he'd like to run. Well, remember Hanko?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good at that.
Yeah, totally.
He's put a cafe in the back. Good at expanding. Took a grinder world and turned it into a full garage-based.
Dean would probably be
one-stop
just a
shopping.
good research assistant.
Oh, but I thought he didn't want to be in science.
Well,
Just getting pushed
it
that
could be
way,
history.
man.
It could be history.
Yeah, anything. Yeah, and you don't really get to.
He
choose
seems like
what-
he'd be a diligent worker of some kind. He doesn't
Sure.
quite have enough personality to like be a boy reporter.
No,
You really got to go get those stories.
but he could edit the words of a boy reporter.
Yeah, yeah. He'd be a good editor. Be a good editor. Yeah.
Boy reporter editor.
So when do you think you're going to bring Incognito references into the show?
Have we not yet?
I've never
That's
brought Incognito.
impossible.
I've brought in Rembrandt references and stuff like that, but actually Incognito, that shitfest of Incognito. I got to tell you about another one, another movie I watched about making a forgery that is worse.
You did a little.
It makes
like not good.
Incognito. It was awful.
What is it called?
I'm just gonna tell you that that Panettiere girl, that tiny little thing that was in Heroes,
Yeah.
she's in it. Yeah, and then there's another guy in it
So not even-
who was in Hunger Games. He played the guy in Hunger Games that you don't care
So
about.
it's like a current
Yes.
young people's
Yes.
hip
And what
bad
was
forgery movie
and what was
instead of
best
getting
about
like
it
a
is
real
that they
heavyweight
gave
actor like Jason Patrick
in the movie they're explaining how to make a forgery. Like all these
Right.
movies, you have to explain how to make a forgery, and this one had the worst explanation
Right.
ever. And so I'm reading.
Incognito was pretty damn
Pretty
thorough.
good, pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
And good research on that. But this
Yeah.
one,
No,
not
not
so
so
good.
much.
Yeah, and I'm reading the online reviews, and it made me just go, "You people are fucking idiots, man." One of them was like someone going, "I can't believe they can just tell you this. Now anybody can make a forgery." I'm like, you know what you do, housewife? You go and take all those directions this crappy movie gave you, and your painting skills,
Yeah.
and you go just sell forgeries. Just do it. And it was more like, they didn't have that color back then, as they
Right.
pour it out of a modern tube with all the extenders and stuff that
Right,
are in
right.
modern paints. Like, oh yeah, that's gonna pass every test. To make a forgery is very, very difficult. That's what I'm saying. You can do a forgery of a Modigliani. You can do a forgery of a Picasso if you can get provenance and all that kind of stuff. But anytime you do a masterwork, you got to be a chemist. It's crazy shit. So yeah, they thought.
And then also a painter, like that part.
And then you have to paint
super
like,
hard.
and then you have to actually
Paint
be able
like
to paint
Rembrandt.
like the greatest painter who ever lived. Yeah. Which people just take out like, oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
anybody can do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with the internet today, anybody can do that. I saw Tim's Vermeer. Anybody can paint.
Just trace it.
Yeah.
If you
It's
have
hilarious.
access to the real painting.
Yeah. If you just,
By the way.
unfucking believable. Yeah, and forgeries are not of paintings that
We
existed.
gotta
They're
pee.
paintings that were spoken of. I'd love to talk about forgeries, but
Yeah.
that is
How
not.
dare you ask him about painting as the last
Yeah,
question?
no,
Fuck you.
never stop.
He won't stop. and
He
we
can't
oh,
stop.
we have to pee so
All I care about.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take care, you guys.